summer vacation. One boy in particular was thinking about riding horses with his big brother Bill and exploring the woods out on the farm. More importantly, he was thinking about the award that he was going to receive for having read the most books in the first grade. Somebody came to the door and handed the teacher a note. She read it and instructed the boy, gather all your things and go to the office. When he got to the office, the principal introduced him to a young couple in their mid-20s and told him, these are your new parents. You need to go with them now. Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, that was the day I met my new parents. As I climbed into the back seat of the car, I watched out the rear window while everything I knew and everything I loved disappeared from view. There would be no award for reading the books. I would never again ride my horse. And never again would I see my brother Bill. I was depressed. I was 7 years old and I was depressed. Dale Carnegie said, self-pity, besides being a waste of time, is the worst habit you could ever possibly have. But I was in it. I was wrapped so much in what had happened back in the principal's office that I couldn't see what was going on right in front of me. My parents were trying to explain to me why I was in this situation, but I couldn't hear them. I couldn't understand because I couldn't get past the principal's office. And I think a lot of times our minds go back to a point in our lives where something has happened, and it literally transports us to that point. And we miss what's going on right in front of us. Something may be very important. It may not be. Whatever it is, we'll never relive that moment that we've missed. On the other end of the spectrum is the future. Sometimes we get so caught up in the future that we also miss the moment. Albert Einstein said, I don't worry about the future. It'll come soon enough. But we can't all be world-renowned physicists now, can we? Well, maybe some of us can. But I think that we do need to concern ourselves with the future, make our plans, but we need to continue to focus living in the moment. Let me give you an example. That summer, when I left Dallas, my parents decided I was going to play baseball. Baseball. I hated baseball. I didn't know anything about it. Well, the coach realized that too. He put me out in right field. That's where they put the little kids that don't know how to play. I learned real quick that when the other team made 3 outs, I got to go sit in the shade of the dugout and drink Kool-Aid. So I focused on the umpire. Was it a ball or a strike? But I couldn't understand him. I couldn't understand him standing in the batter's box. Is it a ball or a strike? Well, lucky me, there was a scoreboard right behind where I stood. And it had lights for balls and strikes. So every time a pitch was made, I looked at the lights. Oh, good, a strike, yes. With this one pitch, I turned and watched the scoreboard, and nothing was happening. I was thinking, what's going on? Come on, somebody turn on a light so I'll know if it's a ball or a strike. And I turned back around. Everybody's jumping up and down and hollering and yelling in my direction. But what? About that time, the ball fell. I knew what then? I missed an opportunity, literally falling out of the sky because I was focused on getting into the dugout. I think we do that a lot. Maybe not to this extent. But I think a lot of us daydream about the future. And I think if you think about it, you'll probably realize that. But it's the moment that we're in that's the most important. It's exhilarating. It gives you satisfaction. It gives you enjoyment, thrill of life, if you can focus on the moment. A couple of weeks after that fly ball, I got my first hit. I had never even had a foul ball before, but I got my first hit. I hit it into the outfield. It went into the gap. I wound up on second base. My first hit was a double. I was so excited I couldn't believe it. I wanted to jump up and down, but I had to stay on the bag, or I'd be called out. moment that I was in when I became convinced that I could hit the ball that I did. And it was a thrill that I received. Should we forget about the past? Absolutely not. But the past can be lessons, good or bad, that teaches us to be a better person. What about the future? Should we forget about the future? I don't think so. I think we should plan for the future. Make a plan. Put it on a calendar. And if it changes, we do what Yogi Berra says. Future ain't what it used to be. We adjust it. We adjust our calendar and we come back to the moment. You may say, well, that's just who I am. I can't change. Well, I kind of disagree. You see, life is made up of an endless string of moments. The question is, which moment do you want to be in? Do you want to be the little kid back in the principal's office, stuck in the past and missing everything going on? Do you want to be the kid waiting to get into the dugout so he can have some Kool-Aid? Or do you want to be the kid standing on second base, enjoying life to its fullest, being thrilled about the moment, feeling the elation of being in the moment? My friends, smell the fresh cut grass, see the beauty of a sunset, hear the birds. Live your life as you will, but live